Hi, this is Chinonso Bogo and this is Business Matrix. Now, how about I told you that there are mistakes that you are making that is preventing you from selling or possibly growing your sales to the level that you want it to be for your organization. Now, this is one of the major challenges that a lot of young entrepreneurs here in Africa is battling with. And of course, there is no business that is immune to it. Now, if you check, everything that you do in your business, almost everything that you do takes money away from the business. From operations to HRO to supply chain, even your office as the founder or CEO, it takes money away from the business. The only major thing that brings money to your business is sales. And that is why you must get it right. Because frankly speaking, sales is the only lifeline that you have to keep your business alive. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you 7 mistakes that you shouldn't make when you are selling. Now, these 7 mistakes that I'll be sharing with you can prevent you from making sales or even growing the sale from the level that you currently are. So whether you're at the level of starting your business or you are young in that business or you have done well for yourself but you're thinking of how to move the needle to a whole new level, then this video is for you. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. Now, starting a business can be really exciting. You know, the whole razzmatazz, the whole paparazzis and everything that come into, starting your business. And, now you are free and you are ready to chase your dream. But then down the road, reality begins to set. You need to now start figuring out how to constantly bring money into the business so that you can stay alive. And that's where sales come in. So I want to share with you 7 mistakes that you shouldn't make when you're trying to sell. And the first thing is this. One of the major mistakes that you could ever make as an entrepreneur in your business is ignoring what I call the customer buying criteria. Ignoring your customers' buying criteria. Now, let me explain what that means. You see, everybody that does business with you or anybody that buys your product or signs up for your service, there's a reason why they buy. And as an entrepreneur, you need to figure what that is. Because every other thing that you are going to be stacking from there based on that foundation. The moment you ignore the reason why customers buy it from you, then everything comes crumbling down. Now, your business is not as strong as the beauty of your products or your services. Your business is only as strong as the problem that you are solving for your customers. Now, when customers come to you, what they're essentially saying is, listen, James, Emeka, Chinenye, Janet, I have this problem and I need a solution. And what you have done, or what you should have done, was to build a solution to that problem. Now, you see, when they come to make transaction with you, they are not doing that essentially because they like you or because they just want to spend their money. Behind that transaction is a big why. What is that for you? Now, I have to understand that for my customers, and I also have to understand that for the customers that I intend to attract. And the same applies to you. Why are your customers buying from you? Because when you understand that and you zero in on that reason, then everything becomes clearer down the road. So ensure at every point in time, even before you launch a new service or product, figure out why customers are buying. Now, you can get the answer to this question by just asking. Sometimes it could be by observation, or sometimes it could be by proper research. And then you get to find out how customers are using your products and why they are using your product. Because when you understand that, you can tailor your offering, your sales strategy, and everything that follows that to get the right results that you need. Okay, number 2 mistake that you are making, which is one of the reasons why you're not selling or growing your sale, is that you are focusing on just a single transaction. Now, let me say this. One transaction does not grow a business. Let me say that again. One transaction will not grow your business. What you need is continuous transaction. And the only way to make that happen is where you constantly stay close to your customers and create innovative solution, or maybe upselling your products, other products to them, or possibly improving your customer service experience so that they can continually buy from you. Now, the math is very simple. If somebody comes to you and spends, say, for example, 100,000 naira, and they only buy from you once in the whole year, then there's nothing you can do about it, because what your book will record is 100,000, right? But you see, the thing about that is that your expense does not follow that trajectory. Your expense will continue to grow, and given the time value for money and the whole inflation thing, that 100,000 cannot even sustain you if it's just one transaction. So what you want to do in your business is to build your business in such a way that when somebody buys from you once, they want to buy again. And how do you do that? Develop strong relationship with those that do business with you, such that they buy from you today, they come the next time, they buy again, and then they refer their friends. So don't just sell once and be excited about it. Sell once and go for next. Okay, the third mistake that you shouldn't make when you're trying to sell is to have a long sales onboarding process. Now, that's a long English, right? But let me break it down. You see, customers these days are lazy. Let me use that word, pardon me. They don't have time to go through a long process before they buy from you. And if you allow your business to be in that position where your sales process is long, then you tend to lose these customers along the way. So simplify your sales process. Between making inquiry, sending invoice, and the customer making payment and you delivering on that service, look for a way to shrink that process down so that it's as simple as possible. Because customers, they want things to be done fast and they want it like yesterday. So don't have a long sales process. Now, the fourth mistake that you shouldn't make when you are trying to sell is to take rejections personally. Now, let me shock you. See, when you want to grow or when you want to become a better salesperson, you must equally be ready to face rejections, because they go hand in hand. See, come on, let's face it, you'll be dealing with human beings, and you can't expect that every time you make a sales pitch or anytime you're trying to sell something to somebody, somebody will always say yes to your proposition. Of course, it can. That's humanly impossible. But this is the thing. As a salesperson, you must outgrow that point where when people say no to you, you begin to feel dejected. Of course, I understand that it's human. Human trait for you to feel dejected. But of course, as a salesperson, you need to learn how to grow beyond that. Because if you continue to take sales rejections personally, at the end of the day, what you notice is that your sales begin to drop because your emotion is everywhere. So when somebody says no to you, it could possibly mean that not yet. It could also mean that, well, I'm not the one that is the decision maker here. Or it could also mean that, you know what, give me a break and I'll get back to you. It could mean so many things. And it could also mean that really they are not interested. And it's fine, because sales, you can't hit everything. You can't get all the sales. Most times, sales is about the law of large numbers. If you want to onboard 10 customers, then talk to 100 customers. And that's how it works. And guess what? If you go by that arrangement, it therefore means that 90 customers are going to say no to you. So what do? You can't continually beat yourself up. So get to that point where you stop taking sales personally, and then you begin to go from one rejection to another until you get your yes. And then before you know what is happening, that could open the floodgate for you. The fifth mistake that you shouldn't make when trying to sell is to be a poor negotiator. Now, negotiation is part of sales. Like I said, when you're transacting or you're trying to transact with a customer, you guys are bargaining price, you're bargaining value, you're also bargaining timelines, you're also bargaining maybe offerings within that bundle of the solution that you're offering. And it's okay. But you see, you need to train yourself to know how to negotiate with people who are trying to buy from you or people that you're trying to sell to. Because if you don't, what happens is either you're not getting sales or you are getting the short side of the stick. Negotiation is about communicating value, being able to achieve a compromise such that you and the person you are trying to sell to achieve a win-win situation. Because if you don't, the truth of the matter is that you're going to limit not only your sales, but the growth of your organization. As your company begins to grow, you will need to understand that at every point in time you are negotiating. Is that you're negotiating a contract with your suppliers, you're negotiating with your creditors or your debtors, whatever the case may be, and it's all about sales. So the sixth mistake that you shouldn't make when you are trying to sell is not following up. Not following up. Now, this is it. Not everybody will give you that check or make that payment or allow you to close that deal every time you talk to them or every time you try to make a sale. Sometimes you have to get back to people. Sometimes it has to be you nurturing the relationship over a period of time before that particular customer pays in money for that particular product or service. So the thing is, it is okay for that to happen. But one of the things you must learn is the act of following up. The money is in the follow-up. Sometimes you have to follow up with a client over a period of, say, a week or two, or even a month, or even a year before the deal eventually pulls through. And that is okay as far as sales is concerned. But not following up can actually impact your sales revenue in ways that you may not even know. The truth of the matter is that sometimes clients can be very busy that they even forget about you. And it's your responsibility to call, send a mail, or maybe a text just to remind them. And then it also shows that you are really interested in solving their problem. So don't try to make a sales pitch, or you make a sales pitch and then you vanish, and then the client doesn't get to hear from you anymore. Follow up. Sometimes you have to follow up, like I said, a couple of times, and then the client sees some level of seriousness, or then in the act of following up with that client, you may get to understand maybe other problems that they have that your current product or new product line can address, which means more money for you, right? So that's the thing. Don't make the mistake of not following up with your clients. Now, let me tell you about the last mistake that you shouldn't make. And it seems like it is contradictory to the sixth one, which is following up too much. Of course, like I said, follow up. But this other mistake is where we take the follow-up to the extreme, where we become too buggy to the client or the potential client. You really don't want that. You want to be able to find that balance between giving the client or potential client a space and also following up in a way that gives you that visibility and close that deal. Don't send the clients, endless mails or make endless calls just because you want to close a deal. At some point, it might become how do I put it, pesty. Some persons might find it offensive or intrusive, and then at the end of the day, they will start avoiding you. So find that balance between following up and not following up too much. So these are the 7 mistakes that I think a lot of people are making that is preventing them from making sales or growing their sale in their business. So I hope that as you continue to come up with new ideas, new strategies to connect more with your customers, you will maybe not totally eliminate these 7 mistakes, but reduce them to the barest minimum so you can make way for increased sales in your business. I look forward to seeing my next video. In the meantime, please subscribe by clicking on the button below, and click also on the notification button so you can be notified when I release the next video. Until next time, bye-bye.